Oh, hi there, and welcome back to British Skylines. We're once again here in the county of Cambridgeshire, in the town of Great Gammington. And in this video, we're going to be working on a retail park. Now, as with all builds, we need to start off by just planning the area in which the build is going to be. So we need to flatten out the land, smooth it out a little bit, and just make sure that we've got plenty of room available. And for those of you concerned, don't worry. I'm not planning to have a roundabout at every single junction in this town. It's honestly, I know there's been a lot so far, but I kind of envision this as being the outskirts of the town, sort of like almost like a ring road around it. I know it's only small lane traffic. I'm hoping to keep it that way, although I mean we're leaving space that we can expand if we need to later on. But yeah, like I say, it's the outskirts of town. There's going to be roundabouts because it's a lot of traffic going all the way around. As we go further into the town, it's going to be quite a large town. As we get further in, you're going to start seeing more just regular junctions, and not everywhere is going to be a roundabout, I promise. And here you can see I'm using the intersection marking tool just to fill in some of the lines in the road, just to make it look like the cars can't actually cross and do right-hand turns. I've actually set it up so that they can't anyway with a different mod, using the Traffic Manager Present Edition mod. So yeah, that's I'm trying to work the traffic in a realistic way, trying to make it so that it functions, and this is part of the reason why I don't want to have multiple lanes on one side of the road. I want one lane, because in theory there's no reason for someone to have to do a right-hand turn. That's again part of the reason why we've got the roundabouts at this point, because you don't need the right-hand turn if you can just go a few meters up the road, hit a roundabout and come back the way you want to come. So that's the plan here. That's what we're trying to do, and hopefully as the town progresses, the traffic flows and it works quite well. We're going to see. If not, we can always tweak it later on. And once again, this episode is going to feature a British Skylines story. In actual fact, that's the entire episode. So thank you, LordMasterTrot, for providing this one. Let's just have a look. So a big supermarket and shopping outlet with several shops, heaps of sections for parking all around it. Trolley stations jotted around and loose trolleys scattered periodically around the car park. A few grass areas, perhaps some small hills so you can't see the car park from the road. Picnic area, play park, climbing wall, etc. At the back of the car park have a couple of camper vans, motorhomes, caravans where a group of travellers have moved in. Disabled parking, parent and child parking, electric car charging parking, motorbikes. Perhaps a motorbike gang have made use of the big car park for a meet. Thank you very much for that. Hopefully, I do you proud. So initially I wanted to take the easy route and just use pre-made parking lot assets and then just fill them in together in between roads, just to make it a nice, easy, quick way of doing it. And okay, yes, it was quick and easy, but I didn't really think it looked right. It didn't have the right feel to it. So I soon changed it, deleted all that, and made to do with the parking lot roads. Now I personally think these look a lot better. It allowed me a lot more opportunity to add detail to it myself, and put things where I wanted them to go. I think it worked out a lot better that way. Let me know what you think. So when it came to adding the decals onto the parking lot roads, I was, I must admit, I was a bit apprehensive for this bit, because I usually find this sort of thing quite tedious and frustrating, just trying to neaten and line everything up perfectly. But it was actually quite good. It took once I got a couple down, it was a case of copy and pasting, so it did make it a lot easier. And yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. And I love obviously going through and adding the detail later on. But once the parking bays are in place, it really does bring this thing to life. And as requested, we've included disabled parking and electric vehicle parking. Unfortunately, couldn't actually do a parent and child parking because I couldn't find an asset for it on the workshop, so we'll have to use our imagination on that one. And then for the trolley or shopping cart part, I really like this part. It used obviously a shopping cart shelter, which looks really good, and then use the prop line tool to get a whole bunch of shopping carts neatly underneath each one. I do randomly dot them around later on in the video as well, and once I've finished sort of the detailing, we'll pop a few of them in just to make it more realistic and more believable and more British. And of course, for the actual buildings of this build, I'm using assets made by Rick4000 for a change, because all his assets are really, really good. They're amazing. But yeah, so you can see here we've got a Tesco superstore, and we also use a bunch of other UK retail outlets later on in the video. So you'll look out for them. Hopefully you'll recognise some of the names. Let me know if you know all the names. And of course, you can't have a build without having some sort of trees and bushes in there. So as you know, if you watched any of my other videos, I enjoy making sort of beautiful bushes and stuff. So I found quite a good selection of trees, bushes, and flowers and stuff, and they always seem to work very well together. So I keep using the same ones, and so because of that, I'm going to cut out a lot of the decoration of the trees, just because you're probably going to get a bit tedious watching all of it. But I really like the way that these come about and split the car parks up and just do it separate sections. I think it looks amazing. And I wanted to add a few details to the main build itself, which is obviously the Tesco Superstore. So to do this, I've added some loading bays, doors, so a couple of trucks, some vans and stuff, and some fence around the outside. And obviously I've gone around and I'll add some cracks and puddles and stuff to it, just to make it more realistic, more feel like there's something going on there, things like that. Another thing I wanted to include in this was the uses of one-way roads, because a lot of places have that as one way in, one way out, and one way around it. And because of that, we obviously need the lane arrows just to tell people where you can go and, more importantly, where you can't go. Because the last thing you want is some normal civilian going in the back through the gates, trying to park in the shop. You can't, because that's where the loading happens. Stupid. And now it's time we add the rest of the retail buildings in, so let me know which one of these you recognise, which ones you don't. Hopefully you recognise them all. But there's one thing I noticed as soon as I did this, and that's the fact that all of the roofs are green and Tesco is blue. So quick thinking me changed it. Bit of a gamble, paid off. I think it paid off. And now it's time to add cars to the car park. I wanted to be a little bit careful with this from experience from doing the others. Obviously, these are real parking spaces, and when I go for cinematics, cars do move around and they will park in these. And I kind of assume that they would avoid the ones where the cars already parked, but apparently they're not sensible enough to do that. So sometimes they park inside each other. So that's why I'm not doing too many, because there's gonna be an element where the cars. It's going to be filled with real moving cars at some point, so we'll let that fill it up, but just to give it something, we'll put a few in now. And now we come to the rear car park. Now, this car park is a bit of an overflow, and it doesn't get used too often, and due to that, some quick thinking travellers have temporarily moved into the site. Now, they wouldn't be here very long. Traditionally, they'll tend to stick to sort of fields. They won't come into sort of working car parks, so I think they'll be moved on relatively swiftly. But for the time being, they're here, and I wanted to give them a mixture of expensive and cheaper looking caravans and motorhomes to sort of better represent the travelling community. And of course, they're going to have a selection of cars, because you know they don't just travel. They might live in the caravans, but they do move around the towns and stuff in their cars, and they usually have nice looking cars. But unfortunately, we are now approaching the end of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, hopefully you liked it, and you want to see more. You know, let me know one way or the other in the comment section below. But don't go away, because as always, there will be a selection of really nice looking cinematics to you to enjoy as we finish the video. But as always, I've been Cities Gamer. You've been awesome, and thanks for watching. Enjoy the cinematics. Goodbye.